exactly what she was wearing.
Can I tell you
Absolutely.
my thought process on that, or where I came from with that? I was handed this form, and I'm like, where do I start? What do I write? And somebody said, tell them what you saw. And so I started with I saw. And then I wrote out what I wrote out. But it wasn't until later I was like, wait, I didn't see her. I assumed that I saw her. I assumed that I heard her. But I didn't. In reality, I didn't see her. I only saw him. And I heard something in the kitchen, but I don't know who that was.
Despite the inconsistencies, investigators move on to what happened after Stefan and Madeline allegedly left for school.
She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there. And she wanted to be dropped off a little down the ways from the school. She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out of in front of the school. I get it. It's an image thing. I said, okay, let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too. And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where she was supposed to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack or something. Find out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her phone. But she was still kind of making her way towards that direction, so it looked okay. It looked like any other day.
And you said that that's typical of her to walk that distance?
Yeah, she likes the morning walks when it's cool. And she will sometimes like to hang out and wait for her friends. She's known to do that.
His statement seems to have raised suspicions with investigators, as Madeline's friend informs them that it isn't typical for her to be dropped off anywhere but in front of the school. Stefan also claims to have dropped her off between 8:20 and 8:40 a.m., but when confronted with what detectives saw on local street cameras, Stefan makes an abrupt change to his story.
So why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10? So meaning going toward Kissimmee.
Mm-hmm. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot I had gone back to the house real quick after we left. I actually had to go through the front gate and use my parking pass to grab my clicker. So it was the wrong time. I'm sorry. Like I said, I was guesstimating these times. I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
So yes, we'd gone out.
How far did you get before you came back down when you realized you forgot your clicker?
Nearly all the way to the school.
So you guys came back here to get your clicker?
Correct.
So when we look at the cameras in the front, it's going to show you coming back in
Correct.
here with her in the car?
Yes, with her in the passenger seat,
okay.
Yes.
Footage from the apartment shows Stefan pulling up to the complex trash compactor at 7:35 a.m. in his silver sedan. He's wearing a red-colored shirt as he throws a trash bag inside the compactor and pulls away. A female believed to be Madeline is visible in the front passenger seat, appearing slightly slumped over. They leave and return to the apartment at 8:19 a.m., where Stefan appears to speak briefly with a security guard. Madeline still appears to be in the front passenger seat. The security guard was later interviewed, but his account burns another hole in Stefan's story.
Do you remember a resident coming through in a silver Lincoln sedan?
I do remember, but not his face. I talked to him. He showed me his little clicker, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm clicking, it's not working." And then I went and I clicked the button. He went inside, and I just remember there was a woman like sleeping beside him with a green shirt.
If Stefan already had his gate clicker, his reason for returning to the complex falls apart, leaving investigators to question what else he may have lied about. They determine the trash compactor needs a closer look and begin the process of gathering a warrant to search its contents. Meanwhile, with more questions than answers, Stefan continues to explain what happened next after he returned to the area near the church and dropped Madeline off.
What did you do after you left the area?
I left to go to the local vape shop because I needed some more vape juice. They weren't quite open yet, so I ended up going back home. Waited about an hour or so and then went back and checked the vape shop again. It was open, so I got what I needed there and came back.
Do you remember what time you came home?
The first time was probably right around 10, close to it. Probably finished at the vape shop and came back home again a little after 11.
Okay. You said the first time that you hung out with a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Was there when you got here at
Yes.
10? Okay.
I think so. She might have been at her blood appointment. Let me double check.
It's okay. We don't have to ask her right now.
Sorry, everything's a blur.
So she might have been here. She might have not have been here
I
the first
believe
time.
she was here because she was sleeping in as much as she possibly could because she's been messed up with a new work schedule. So she had to be here because she didn't want to sleep in.
With Stefan struggling to remember whether or not Jennifer was home when he arrived back at the apartment, investigators turned to Jennifer herself for confirmation.
When Stefan called me around 10:18 in the morning, I had stepped out to go get blood work done. And he had just let me know that he just got back home from running a few errands. I asked, did you guys ever just stop at McDonald's? And he said, no, she changed her mind. He tried convincing her a few times that she did not want McDonald's anymore.
At what time did you leave the house yesterday in the morning? Or what time did you step out, rather?
I'm going to say around 9:30.
You left around 9:30. And then Stefan called you around 10 to say he got home?
Yeah.
Cool.
Though Stefan claims he spent time with Jennifer before leaving for the vape store a second time, Jennifer's account suggests she wasn't home until after he returned. As confusion builds over the timeline, detectives review security footage from the street cameras and notice a flaw in Stefan's story.
Did you go anywhere else after the smoke shop?
Oh no, I don't think I went anywhere specific. I was just driving probably in the direction of home. But I don't remember stopping anywhere specifically.
And you were there for 5 to 10 minutes.
Roundabout, I think.
Okay, so like let's say you drop her off at 8:40. We don't see her car coming back south until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing between 8:40 and 10 o'clock?
Cruising around a little bit.
Okay, but I asked you earlier, you know, like what you were doing, and you said you were there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you came back home.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It was just a normal day. I didn't have anything important to do. The smoke shop was supposed to open soon, so I made my way over there. Wasn't any particular rush, though.
Okay, but can you help me explain to them, because I don't know the explanation or the answer to this question, okay? So can you help me explain to them why there's such a delay in the time?
No?
With Stefan unable to provide an answer, more surveillance footage will need to be reviewed to track his movements. Meanwhile, a suspicious act by Stefan raises serious alarms for investigators.
I left my phone at home in the morning, too. I was so busy riding herd over to get us out the door on time that I left my phone. She left her phone. We both left our phones.
Did you have your phone when you went to the smoke shop?
Not the first time after I dropped her off. I was still without it. I got my phone and went back to the smoke shop later when I got home.
And then I also noticed, I was checking your call history. I noticed that you don't have anything before this morning. Is that unusual on your phone?
No, it's a new phone. Stupid. I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what the... Pardon me. I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my information.
Jennifer also corroborates this story as she explains the moment the supposed accident took place.
And I said, how the hell does that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone? He goes, yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened. And I said, oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks.
When asked, Stefan voluntarily hands over his phone, and investigators begin a forensic download to determine its contents. They uncover that at 12:12 p.m. on February 26th, the phone was factory reset by manually navigating to the device's settings, and that it had nothing to do with a system update. They also discovered that a password must be entered and that it's unlikely, if not impossible, to be done by accident. In the meantime, Jennifer explains that Stefan had an intense reaction to leaving his phone in the hands of the police.
So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stefan for his cell phone. if he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have? And I'm like, no, if you've got nothing to hide, give him your phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside, and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for ever. I don't give a... We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like...
You ready?
Yes, sir. Ready.
If you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious. What are you doing?
But they would later discover hidden in the data would shock investigators and completely change the course of the case. Meanwhile, as Stefan's account of the day continues, he explains that he left the apartment once again around 12:30 in the afternoon.
I had a couple errands to run over on 192. She was talking about making a BJ shopping list. She just wanted to make sure I was back in time for us to both go pick up. So I was.
I trust Kelso.
Eu não tô no grupo do vô. Não sei se quem que vai render o vô hoje. Tem um monte de gente aí que podia ir. Tem que se organizar. O vô hoje a noite toda, inteirinha, não me deixou dormir. Me chamava direto. Moisés. Aí eu tinha que responder. Oi. Aí ele parava. Acho que ele se sente sozinho.